Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, now on the Weld Like Bazza Podcast, please welcome the one and only Bazza.
So if I go right back, kind of how did I get into welding?
Yeah.
I started when I was 17.
Right.
Same as kind of a lot of people my age, we was looking for apprenticeships.
Okay.
My granddad was a pipe fitter by trade, so when he tells me he was a pipe fitter welder, after you spent a little bit of time in the trade, maybe that's not so much of a thing, but he was more a pipe fitter than a welder.
And was that local? Was your granddad local?
Yeah, mainly local. Yeah, on the graving dock.
Right.
But he's worked for GPE, was one of the main companies he worked for, which he just started back up again.
Right.
So I saw welding in the paper, and I thought I'll give it a go. I didn't fully maybe understand what it was, or again, looking back now, I certainly didn't know what it was going to entail. But so I applied for it. I was on a plumbing course actually at the local college at the time.
Right.
Knew I wanted to work with my hands, and ended up being lucky enough to get one of 12 apprenticeships with a company called Alstom.
Right.
We spent our first year at the local college.
Right.
So a very similar model to what we do at Catch.
Right.
And once I finished my first year, I had a great trainer, a guy called Phil Thompson, who worked at Catch for a short time as well. And kind of that probably was where I started really thinking that I could maybe go into education. It'd be nice to...
was that because of Phil's inspiration of how he was with you and other people, or...?
Yeah, a bit of both. I mean, when I kind of left school, I wanted to be a PE teacher. I love sport.
Right.
And still do. But I didn't want to go down the university route. I wanted to get a trade and do an apprenticeship.
Yep.
And then, meeting Phil and seeing what the influence he had on myself, and a few other trainers that were there as well at the time.
Right.
Had a real positive influence on me. We used to get school tasters come in, and they would come and would do demos and get them having a go, doing just some basic welding. But as the time kind of went on with them, a lot of them used to end up in my bay. I'd maybe have 3 or 4, whereas my mates maybe weren't quite as fussed. They just wanted to weld themselves.
Right. Okay.
So I'd kind of have them doing a bit, and I thought I just quite enjoyed it.
The apprenticeship at that point, would that have been 3 years long?
4 it was.
4 years at that point?
4-year apprenticeship,
So would that have been 2 years or 3 years at college and then a year out in the job with just a day back, or how did it work back then?
We did 1 year at college.
Full year?
Yeah, 1 full year.
Yeah.
5 days a week. And then we went onto site straight from there.
And was that with like one day? I remember my apprenticeship, I did 1 day and 1 night at college and the rest was at work.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
No, we was just we were straight on site.
Right.
Because of the 12 of us, 11 finished the first year, and they kind of doubled us up, 2s and 3s, and sent us. Some went to Kings North, some went to Scotland. We were spread all over. I went to Ratcliffe Power Station.
Right, okay. So you've actually worked on the power stations then?
Yeah, I'm a boiler rat, yeah.
Right, wicked.
Yeah.
A boiler rat?
Yeah.
I love a bit of boiler work.
Yeah, I love it. And when we get the companies come back through now that are going to work on the boilers, I tell them what such a good time they're going to have. And
that's really interesting. So you've done a proper apprenticeship.
Uh-huh.
We're going to be a pipe fitter, did some pipe fitting, did some welding, did a full apprenticeship. You started out maybe being a plumber.
Yeah.
Ended up being a boiler rat. What did you do regarding the boiler rat stuff?
So my first, Ratcliffe Power Station was where I went, working with a really good welder there called Kareem on the maintenance.
Right,
so
okay.
we used to do all the breakdowns, boiler tube repairs. That's where I kind of cut my teeth, if you like, as a
128 tubes to get out of that boiler faceplate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Replacing the tubes, putting the finning back in. That was my first introduction to proper welding, if you like, straight from kind of the
So it'd have been MMA mostly as well, and TIG.
Yeah, TIG and MMA. Yeah,
brilliant. And do you still find that that's your forte?
Yeah, probably. We did some flux core towards the end of my time, but yeah, definitely TIG. And my favourite process, if you like, is MMA. It's brilliant. It's proper welding.
It was my dad's favourite, MMA. There's not many people who's got that art and love for it anymore.
No, it's, you sort of see it fizzing out a little bit, but when you can see someone who does it well on social media and that, it's, I'd much prefer to see someone stick weld really well than all these fancy weaves and things with the TIG.
we're a big believer in not walking the cup at MS Welding.
Yeah.
Like it's not acceptable. I don't want anybody to come and talk to me about it, because on a lot of stuff that I work on, it's forbidden. We're not allowed. It's 100%. We're not allowed to even think about it. Might be able to give it a slight weave if needed for a little, but walking that cup, it's just no. It doesn't come anywhere near it.
No.
And that's interesting because so many people go down that route of following people on Instagram and YouTube where they do these really pretty, amazing, coloured looking welds, but there's no integrity to it.
No. They look great for Instagram, but that's
about the extent of it.
But that's kind of a battle that we have when people have got a welding apprenticeship. They've seen websites like that. They've watched YouTube, and that's how they want their welds to look after about 3 or 4 days of picking a TIG torch up. So that kind of reality check at the start is key, really.
It's really funny. I've got a little bit of a story about walking the cup. There's a college in Leeds, and one of the instructors actually phoned us. We want to buy some parts so we can start walking the cup. And I went, can you tell me why you would want to walk the cup as a welding tutor? Well, the guys are coming in and that's what they want to learn. I said, okay, well, I'm not going to supply you anything. I think you need to go back to the drawing board. And it's funny how they kind of took the bat and ball home about it. Yeah. But I think we need to teach the basics right from the start of it, don't we?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. We use it as a bit of stretch and challenge. If you get someone who's really good at TIG, can do it both hands, and then we go, okay, we'll now do a little bit walking the cup.
Because that's a part, isn't it? Can you put the torch in the left hand as well as the right hand?
Yeah, boiler ratting again, yeah.
While you stood in your toolbox.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Confined space, yeah, not much room. My apprenticeship was brilliant, and that's kind of how, I guess, I wanted to kind of pass it on to Catch.
Okay, good.
That we did mirror welding. I was, because of my stature, I'm not very tall. I was always kind of shoved in the confined space.
Yeah, likewise. Get in there. I remember my dad once sent me out to a job. It was a great big, like a bread oven. I think it was like 500-600 meters long. Yeah. And the track had split in the middle, and they sent the maintenance guy in to clamp it up. And somebody phoned my dad, and they were like, 50 welders here, Malcolm, and nobody wants to get in there and touch that job. Barry will be there at 5 o'clock in the morning, he'll sort it. And I remember climbing in on a pallet and kind of dragging the machine in with me, like, again.
Brilliant. Yeah, good memories, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And I guess as well, some of the characters you meet along the way are second to none in these trades. Obviously, I'm biased, and hopefully we're both biased, but you meet some great people. So
how long did you work on the tools for?
So I did a 4-year apprenticeship, and then I worked for another couple of years with Alstom. And the last job, I was at Stallingborough Power Station.
Right, so it's always been the power station stuff that you've done predominantly, is it?
Yeah, just down the road, and I kind of got a taste for being at home a bit more rather than kind of travelling around the country. So I thought I'd try my hand locally. I worked locally for all sorts of different companies, but probably another maybe 6 years, something like that. And then an opportunity came up at the college, the local college, where I did my first year.
So you kind of went back?
Yeah, I thought it was quite a nice story. Yeah.
Really good story.
So went back and went into teaching like the level 1 school leavers.
Right. So kids straight out of school.
Yeah.
Want to learn welding.
Yep.
Might not necessarily have an apprenticeship, but going to go to college to learn something. That's the kind of kids that you were teaching.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, across. And again, when I went in, there was a lot of fabricators, platers, sheet metal workers who were trainers. Yeah, and they make good trainers because they're quite multi-skilled, can do a little bit of
diverse.
Everything. Yeah. But I was sheet metal and was not my forte at all. Still isn't. But welding wise, I took like the level 3 welders, the 2 welder, I took the night class, the apprentices. And then, cut my teeth with in education with the level 1. Kind of level 1 was your learners who had come from school who didn't get the GCSE grades, so like your lower level learners. But again, some brilliant characters, and sometimes can be missed from trade just because they haven't got a maths or English grade doesn't mean they're not going to be good with their hands. So,
exactly.
That's where I started in education.
So after that was your first year. What did you do from there?
So I did level 1 for 2 or 3 years. We actually started my first year. So I think I started in November, And so my first start to an academic year was the following September. We had 107 level 1 start, which was phenomenal. I had 5 groups, and I remember someone saying to me, if you survive this year, you'll do well in education. So,
and how did you do?
It was testing. Again, with that many people, it was tough at times, but after that, we had less numbers. So I think I always look back to that year and think, if I can survive that one, then I can kind of do any year.
I can kind of hear my dad chirping in my ear, and I can kind of hear him saying, I think it was a direct dig at one of my uncles who was a headmaster at the time. It's like, those that can't teach.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because I know what my dad actually thought about that. I think that was just a complete dig. But what do you think?
It's there's a couple of phrases that sort of frustrate me. That's one of them. You see, like the staff team I've got at the minute at Catch, and myself included. It's when you come into education, your welding quality maybe doesn't have to be as high because of what you're teaching. You're not teaching 6G TIG and stick 6-inch shed all the time. Yeah, you're not doing it. But what you have to know theory-wise is a lot more. You have to maybe know 2 or 3 different ways of doing something that's very simple, because not everyone is going to get what you want them to do in the first. Sometimes you think, I'll just tell them that and they'll go away and do it. No chance.
Right.
And again, when I had over 100 people, they all learn differently. So
everybody's got a different way of taking and absorbing that information in.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's different for me. I tend to teach on a one-to-one level. It's more normally technology based, or somebody comes to me with a problem. Mm-hmm. Can you help us out? Because we're in a bit of a predicament. Yeah. It's not necessarily for a code or a grade, but we're really struggling regarding this, and that's where it comes for me. Your skill set needs to be different, because you might have 15 kids screaming at you in the same space, 5 minutes, and they might all have a different kind of, I don't know, maybe a different skill set.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And the level 1s, the welds are all downhand, but then you could have the group of level 3s in at the same time that are maybe doing some 6G, or you could have the apprentices in. It was very varied throughout the day.
Yeah. So how many people have you got at Catch at the moment, and what is your role here at the moment at Catch?
So I'm head of the Welding and Pipe Fitting Hub.
Okay.
The name doesn't include fabrication. It's just because of that's how we was first set up. But it is something that we're looking to include. But we do have fabricators as well. This year we've got 12 welders. We've got 9 pipe fitters, 12 fabricators, and we also have a scholarship group, which are they're not employed. They were just unsuccessful in gaining an apprenticeship.
Right.
So it's like a level 2. It's a bit like a pre-apprenticeship course instead. But across the 3 years, we've been going for, this is our 4th year now, but we've got over 100 in total across them all, because we had more last year, some the year before as well.
And you take everybody from the full 4 years of the apprenticeship, do you, through here? Yeah.
So the model we run at the minute is the first year they spend with us, and then they go into site again. So, like I said, very similar to my apprenticeship. We are looking at different delivery models, day release and things like that for September 26.
That's next year. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But at the minute, it's just year release with us.
And how long's Catch been here?
Catch is it's about 25 years, I think, in total. They've been delivering apprenticeships since September 22.
Okay, so that's quite recent.
Quite new, yeah. We started off with mechanical and electrical. And then the following year, September 23, is when myself and some of the team, we started and set up the Welding and Pipe Fitting Hub. So
was that a project that you were involved in right at the very beginning, the very start?
Yeah, so I had conversations with my old boss, James, at the time. We'd kept in touch for a few months before. I actually started in May 23 with a colleague and friend, Lewis, and he's a pipe fitting trainer. So we started, and following that, Chelsea, our welding trainer, and Phil, who's our workshop tech, they started in August 23, ready for the September.
At this 23. Facility here?
Yeah.
How many bays did you have when you started?
We had, there was all old breeze block. There was a terrible alleyway. We inherited the workshop from another training provider. and they handed the keys over at 4 o'clock on the 31st of August. We had 2 weeks to polish what we had into something that was deliverable from our standards.
Right.
So we started middle of September 23, and we had the alleyway had 14 bays, and then we had like a horseshoe with about 12 bays in it.
Wow. And now you've got, 40 out there or something?
69 we've got.
69 welding bays.
Yeah.
Which is some kit, isn't it, for a training centre, for somewhere to go and learn to weld. That's some...
Yeah, we're very lucky. The facility we've got here is fantastic. So if kind of the backstory, I guess, to the project. So we started in September 23 with our first year.
Okay.
And then kind of, even when we started, we was told, there might be some funding for some new bays.
Is that government funding, or is it from within?
Yeah, it's not catch. It's from industry, from local companies, bigger companies.
Right.
And some government as well.
Right. Okay.
September 23 we started, and as the year went on, we kind of got told there might be some funding. Again, you think it might be someone might be able to get a new guillotine or a press brake or something. We knew we wanted to start fabrication as well.
Okay.
Because we started with just welders and pipe fitters. And kind of February, March time 24, all of a sudden I'm asked to draw some plans up for what I want the workshop to look like. Me and the team got together and had a look. And probably a few weeks after that, it was right, you're going to finish 2 weeks early, which is normally we finish August time. We finished mid-July.
Okay.
And we actually said we need to start 2 weeks late the following year. So the contractor and the project manager, Barry, they had 8 weeks to turn it round. The workshop was pretty much knocked flat inside.
Right, just completely demolished and started again.
Yeah, the only thing that's left standing is one breeze block wall.
Really?
Of the actual workshop.
Because it's a big old unit, this, isn't it? It's a big place.
Yeah. It used to hold, when other training providers have had it, it was welding, fabrication, electrical, mechanical, and instrumentation as well, all in here. Now it's just solely welding,
it's just welding, isn't it?
Yeah, fabrication, so we've got, as far as I'm aware, we're still the training provider with the most welding bays across the country.
I think so. From everywhere that I've been, I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, I know a place like Tipton and that, I think, pushes quite close, but I think we're just about there. And when the guys come and girls for open events and things, to have this facility local to them, obviously I think they're very lucky.
I think it's fantastic. From what I've seen, I've been. This is my second visit, and I think it's it's a stalwart. It's a flagship. It really is. It's something special about it. It's got a good feeling about it. I think when you walk in, and the staff seem quite cool from the ones that I met as well. That's really important. And from the day that I spent with you earlier this year, I think what I took away from it is there seemed to be no ego. And some training facilities, they are overrun with a little bit of ego. I think this place seemed to be laid back. There was loads of help on hand. Everybody was very happy to be here. And you don't always see that. And I think sometimes, somebody might jump on an apprenticeship and it might not be what they want to do.
Yep.
And unfortunately, you get stuck with maybe that student for the duration or until they decide to, leave. But what I felt here was everybody was really willing, very knowledgeable. Even some of those were brand new starters. They'd only been here a few months, hadn't they?
Yeah.
And people already had that burning desire for it, and that's got to come from within. And I think that's something that I really want to focus on. And you picked up on it really, really early, that the industry as a whole, I think, lacks really good, solid inspiration. I think it's sometimes classed as still a dirty trade. Don't get me wrong, you end up going home a complete different colour sometimes when you've been in a boiler all day. You really do. You come out and you're like, I need to get a shower, and you might have to have 3 showers before you stop smelling or whatever you've been grinding out all day. But ultimately, I think that's only a very small part of it now.
Yeah.
Health and safety is better than it's ever been. You're protected in a way where we were never ever protected before, the way that we are now. I still think the trade as a whole, the industry, it's almost frowned upon still in certain sectors, and I think it needs to be highlighted that this is one skill set. And I don't know what you think about this, but you can flick up and down the Instagram and YouTube feed, and there's a huge discussion at the moment about the amount of jobs that are going to be lost to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to see artificial intelligence as it is at the moment. Cut a flange out of some plate.
Yeah.
Make sure it's true. True up a pipe. Make sure that's level. Put the flange on the pipe. Tack it in and weld it in position and make sure it's right. I think if you jump on a trade like this at the moment, electrical, welding, mechanical, plumbing, I think you're going to be safe from the fact that AI is quickly approaching and taking other people's jobs at the moment. What do you think about that?
No, I couldn't agree more. In my old role, I worked myself up to curriculum manager at the local college.
Right.
And we used to have like curriculum planning for the following year.
Okay.
And one of the things we had to go up and sit with senior leaders and kind of look at what we was going to deliver for the following year.
Okay.
And one of the things it would be, have you looked on, is AI going to take your job pretty much? And welding was always like 90% of your jobs are going to be taken. And because I've come from the trade, had experienced it, I've still got very good friends that are in the trade, and kind of me sort of sitting there and arguing, saying, no, you've got to have your hand skills. You've still got to know what you're looking at. It might take up some of it and it might take up parts of it, but I think the kind of way to look at it is it will maybe work alongside it rather than
working alongside it, definitely.
Yeah, rather than it take the jobs. There's too many hand skills needed before we look at
too much
AI.
Intellectual variables involved as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think anybody who comes into this job now, this industry, and learns this magic, as I like to class it, I think you're going to be safe for a fair few years.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And is that something that you've been spoke about here? Like, our welders going to be made redundant due to AI, or has that conversation not even happened? And are you thinking the only thing that's going to hold us back at the moment is the current economy?
Yeah, no, we've not had that discussion here yet. We always look at future planning still.
Right.
When I say future plan, that's making sure the apprentices who are just starting in trade are going to have a job in 30 years' time, if they want it, in
really
the trade
important.
still.
Yeah.
So do we look at bringing different types of technology in? Cobot, for example, is something that we've looked at and things, and kind of training them up. But at the minute, no, it's not something
Let's discuss that a little bit. And the reason why I think it's really important to discuss that is I come across that hurdle in the field quite regularly. Somebody goes into a company and does a really, really good sales pitch. Really, really good sales pitch. And it looks appealing. And, oh, look, we don't have to... So I think some companies see it beneficial if they've got a high turnaround of staff or workers, and they think, well, if we had a robot to do that particular job, and I quite often get bypassed because I'm very vocal about what I think about the cobot and robot situation, unless you've got really, really good repeatability of your products, and you've got enough products to make it worthwhile being loaded onto a robot, a robot never ever pays for itself. But on the other side of it, you can't just take somebody from stores who's got no idea about welding, put him on a cobot and expect him to be able to achieve welds like somebody who's been welding and trained as a welder for 25 years.
Yeah.
It's absolutely impossible. And even with AI at the moment, I don't think there's any way that it can catch up.
No, I couldn't agree more. So we have to maybe think 20 years ahead of ourselves.
Right.
So that's why we are looking at them. But again, at the minute, I couldn't agree more. I don't know many companies around here that have them or utilising them. No, not my thing.
I think what you see with them is people invest and they try to make a really big thing about it because they've made a big investment.
Yeah.
For like 80, 90 grand.
Got to make it work.
Got to make it work. And then 18 months later, when you're in there to do work regarding something that I might be involved with, it's still stuck there. But it's not been turned on for 7 months and it's not done very much. I think that money could be... So can you imagine what you do with 90 grand?
Oh, Christ. Yeah, we were lucky enough to have some funding last year, but as well as kind of everything that we had the year before, there's some extra funding available per kind of welding apprentice that you get because of the skills gap.
Okay.
So we managed to get some money in, but we didn't look at cobots. We bought some nice welding machines, things to make like for the welders, for instance, the less time they're prepping, the better. So we bought some pipe preppers. And
amazing.
We bought some new bits of tools for the pipe fitters, some benches for the fabricators.
Yeah,
it's
really important.
Skills.
It's basic stuff, but it's really important.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got the foundation of the stuff right, and quite often, I remember one of the colleges that we used to help out, they never had enough money to buy we're talking a long time ago, but they never had enough money to buy the electrodes they needed for the small courses that they run on a night time. So one day my dad was like, well, I'll help you out. Like, and a pallet of rods turned up to the college, and then my dad ended up with a small 4-inch box lathe. We're like, what kind of deal can we do? And because they were really underfunded, and I think the skills gap's really important to speak about. So what's your thoughts on that at the moment?
It's growing.
The skill gap's actually growing.
Getting bigger. I think a few years ago, must be 3 years ago, I put a poll out on LinkedIn. Sort of the average age of a welder then was about 56. So
right, okay.
Probably closer to 60 now.
Yeah.
So how many of them are going to retire? As well as the gap that we've got growing. Again, I think you kind of mentioned it earlier, where people are still kind of scared to come into these trades.
What can we do? What do you think we need to do? I think one thing that I really talk about passionately on the show, not necessarily, I never class it as a skills gap. I purely class it as there's just no welders out there. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the companies that I go to are like, you don't know anybody who'll be interested in a job, do you, Barry? And quite often, we've got a really technical job. Do you think you could do it on the weekend for us? I'm like, no, I'm busy doing what I do. But the requirements for more staff through the door at factories and employers is getting bigger, I feel.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And I think it's going to be a job where I think it's going to turn around again, isn't it? Companies were really happy to employ welders, not pay them very well, not treat them very well. And it's going to come to the point where they're the Rolls Royce of the industry again. You know, they can demand the money they want.
Yeah, most definitely.
And they can, demand what they want to do and how many hours they want to work. And I don't think it's far away. And all the speak of green energy and going green, there's still going to be an awful lot as I drive in down the motorway. Mm-hmm. There's a huge solar farm. Yeah. There's an awful lot of welding involved. There's an awful lot of fabrication involved. There's loads of skills there. And like you say, it's a big gap, isn't it? Yeah, huge gap. I mean, I mentioned my granddad earlier, but he talks about kind of, he could just, years ago, there was that many jobs for kind of just himself. He could kind of pick and choose where he wanted to go and how much kind of, it was almost whoever's paying highest, that's where he went. Yes.
And the same as not just him, anyone he was working with.
Right.
And I think that's close, if not kind of already here.
I think it's already here.
Yeah.
The guys that you've got in here now and the girls that you've got in here, they're going to be able to leave here and start demanding Hollywood money.
Yeah.
I think that's not too far away. And, if the time comes as well when we're told to drill again in the North Sea, I'm not saying we will, but again, we're going to need an awful lot of guys to man that. And that's where the big money is.
Yeah. I mean, we can tell the apprentices here how lucky they are every day, but at some point we're just the same voice repeating ourselves over.
It's like talking to mum and dad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Only take 10% of it in maybe, but when we get guest speakers in, and if some of them are brave enough to say, well, how much do you earn? And if they're honest and tell them, you can see their eyes light up. It's cars, it's mortgages, it's houses, Yeah,
I live and breathe my job. Like, I've worked all weekend, quite regularly do a 16-hour day.
Yeah.
Through the passion of it. But what I also try to do is encourage people to pick up the torch, give it a go, because I think the skill set and the desire is missing.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do here to really try and drill it into these guys that they're in a fantastic position?
Yeah. So it starts with, we have a schools engagement team. Okay. They go out and we have a virtual a VR welder.
Right. And how are you getting on with that?
We trialled a couple of different ones, and we favoured the Lincoln Electric one that we've got because our main thing with it was to take it into schools. It's a good bit of kit to cart round. Comes in two suitcases, but obviously it's fully safe. There's no burns. It's you're not breathing in the fumes, but we can take it. I mean, my kids have had a go on it. My lad was probably about 7 when he first had a go on it, so it's not something you could just drag him into a workshop and say,
sure.
There you go, there's a stick rod and just let him crack on. So, but he loved it, and just getting them to have that first experience of welding. I mentioned that I didn't really know what I was getting myself into.
Okay.
The VR doesn't solve all that,
No.
but it lets you know a little bit about what welding is, and it might just pique that interest.
And is that where you're using that? So rather than, I disagree with them for actual teaching people who want to weld.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be a big step back.
Mm-hmm.
But I think how you're using it to take it into skills and maybe customers and letting them have a go at that level and get that engagement.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea. And is it working? Yeah. Does it seem to work really well?
Yeah, I mean, numbers-wise, we had about 120 apprenticeship places this year. That's mechanical, electrical, process, operations, welding, fabrication and pipe fitting across Catch. That's all Catch kind of do.
On this site?
Yep, on this site.
Wow.
So 120 places. We had over 600 applicants, which is obviously great. That's this side of the bridge and kind of into
Okay.
the whole.
That's big.
Yeah, huge, yeah. And I'm not saying they all wanted to be welders or electricians but that was how many people applied. Yeah, so all that.
Do you think when people leave with a qualification, do you think they value the qualification they've got quite often? And I say that in terms of the Hollywood statement I've just made. These guys and girls are going to leave, mm-hmm. and they're going to be not far away from earning the Hollywood money. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, we've got some, because we've worked with lots of different employers, some are going to go to Hinckley, and they know they're going to earn a fortune straight away.
Yeah.
They've got their first taste of that coming up in February, so it'll be interesting to see what they think.
All right, so how's that working?
They're all in accommodation here.
Right.
Say here, locally.
Right.
They're in a house together. And again, it's...
so what's the age group? What's the range there?
17 to... about early 20s off the top of my head, 22.
Right, cool, yeah.
Yeah, we've got Newcastle, South Wales, I think. We've got one lad from London. They're from all over, so they've been brought together by one company. And yeah, they're in accommodation. But that's through, I guess, word of mouth is spreading about what we're doing well here.
Yes.
But also...
Which is?
Do all sorts well. But I think it's... the guys there who I work with at Alstom, because it was quite a good company, quite a big company, I've got lots of contacts from them, and they're starting to use us. So the senior welding engineer there, Ben, he was like when I went into my second year, he was kind of like a mentor, I guess.
Okay.
And what he doesn't know about welding isn't worth knowing, I don't
Amazing.
think. But yeah, so that's kind of where that relationship's come from. But what do we do well? I just think we're slightly different.
I agree with that completely, and I've only met you twice now. Yeah, and I completely agree with that.
Yeah, the first thing is we've full staff team, which you go to a lot of training providers, and they're struggling for staff. We're struggling for tradespeople in the trade. We're struggling for teaching staff.
Yeah,
we're very lucky here, or I am especially, that I've got a full staff team. Compared to some places, we have one of the big things for like Lewis when he came was he's a pipe fitter by trade. When he's been teaching before, he's taught sheet metal work, he's taught the welders, he's taught a little bit of pipe fitting, what they did there. But now his job is solely teaching pipe fitters.
Is that the guy that I met briefly the day when I was here?
Yeah. And the same, so when we had all the funding and everything, obviously we doubled in size apprenticeship-wise, but the staff team doubled as well.
Good.
So we've got fabricators, we've got Alan, Dan, Aaron, who's also team leader, 2 pipe fitters, we've got Richard and Lewis, we've got 2 welders, Chelsea and Tom started with us last week, and then like I said, Phil, our workshop tech as well, so fully staffed team. Few nice stories again. Lewis, Chelsea, they trained at Catch when it was under a different training provider. I've come full circle, did their apprenticeships at a local company called Fabricom.
Right, okay.
And they send their apprentices to us under a different name now of EFAB. But some nice stories, all gone through 3 or 4 year apprenticeships, ECITB apprenticeships, the majority of us. And when we was kind of designing the curriculum, with myself and Lewis, we sat with our old portfolios out from when we were 17. Things have changed slightly, but also things haven't changed an awful lot when you look back at some of the tasks you've done. So the curriculum's kind of built around that with a slightly modern and our twist on it, if you like. We don't include any qualifications that we don't need to include. We concentrate solely on what the trade is they're doing.
Yep.
We work with the employer, so Catch is kind of run by a board of industry leaders. So we meet, we have an employer working group where we all meet together and we discuss the curriculum. Everything's run by them. They kind of give ideas to us. We can't meet every employer's specific need, but we can kind of cover it as a whole and kind of meet everyone's needs. And again, the curriculum could change year to year depending on which employers we're working with.
Okay.
It just depends. A good example is working with British Steel this year, and they want, towards the end of the year, want their welders. We often use kind of no thicker than 10, 12 mil maybe, mainly using 5 and 6 mil.
Which is quite thin for a boiler, right, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. But so British Steel, I mean, they want their guys working on 25, 30 mil thick.
Minimum.
That's what we're doing towards the end of the year. So the last 6 weeks, we have a mock shutdown on site. We have a fully operational process plant with the tank farm. And like I said, shut down for 2 weeks. We work with the mechanical, electrical and process guys, and they've all had that experience before they go out. They can't do any work on there without the risk assessments, the permits. The guys in the operations building will act and knock the risk assessments back as you would get in real life.
Regularly.
Yeah, all the time, yeah. So they do a great job when the shutdown's on. But it's good. It's a good week because the staff team across both kind of delivery sides get together and can look at what tasks need doing. We've got some pumps to fit. We've got all sorts of bits to do.
Got some pipe work to move.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might be just some bits to straighten up, but they're real life jobs that they have to all work together on. And we normally did it for a week, but we've extended it this year for 2 weeks because there's that much to do on it.
How many other places in the UK do you think can actually offer that? A mock-up shutdown?
Yeah, not many, if any, if I'm honest. We're really keen, or especially I am. The workshop's fantastic. Had a lot of money spent in it.
It really is.
The welding bays are beautiful, but you can't be getting outside, setting your welding tent or your elephant up and doing the same weld, but we do it outside. Today, where it's a bit grey, a bit rainy, and a bit cold, would be perfect.
Yeah. Wind.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So go and complete. It might just be an overhead T-fillet with stick, but go and complete it. Set your tent up and do it outside. Yes, it has got holes in the top of it. It's second-hand. It was a donation, but it adds to it. And it's
probably what you're going to find yourself with when you get out there in 4 years' time, 3 years' time, and you find yourself making yourself a little shack out of some tarp.
Exactly.
Yeah. Try to keep yourself under the shelter.
Yeah, definitely.
Real life situations, I think, are really important, and it sounds like you've got that pretty much nailed on with that facility. Yeah.
There's a few things. There's if you can't do it, teach it. Sort of frustrates me. And after our first year, because this is the most I've ever worked with apprentices. I've worked with full-time learners and kind of dipped in and out of kind of day release apprentices before, but this is the most I've ever worked with apprentices all day, every day.
Yeah.
And one of the comments we kind of used to get was, right, you've been at Catch now, or you've been at the training provider now for a year, forget everything you've learnt, you're with us now. And part of me thinks, one, why send them to us?
Why send them to you? Yeah, I agree.
Or why not work with us? What is it you want? So over the last kind of couple of years, we've really tried to work on that. So the last kind of 6 weeks of the curriculum, we've got mandatory qualifications and exams and things to get through, but from a practical point of view, what is it you really need them to do? Is it you want them to be able to weld left and right-handed? Is it you want them to do some mirror welding? Is it aluminium? Is it you want them to work on a certain different material or dairy tube? We can kind of
we do some titanium. Yeah, something like that. What do you need from us?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so when they go into company, we're working with a company on the Teams call this morning where they want them coded before they finish with us.
Okay.
They might not have the workshop facility as they go to site. Okay. So what is it they want? So we'll then work with the apprentice and say, okay, this is where your employer wants you.
What standard is it they want them coding to?
9606.
Right, okay. Yeah. And you've got the full accreditation to do that here?
Yeah, well, the company at the minute are going to send someone down to
witness that. Yeah.
So all we're kind of doing is the apprentices maybe know no different really. They're just going to be in the bay doing a weld that they're asked to do.
And is that something you're going to look at having the access to in-house, eventually being able to qualify people and witness that yourself?
It's probably our next step.
I think that would be a fantastic step next.
Yeah, we're well established now as apprentice training provider, but we're looking at what our next step is. The TWI accreditation potentially is something that we're looking at. Yeah,
something so people can say we've got 5 guys or 2 guys or just one guy or whatever, and we need them qualifying to this standard. They're really good. They've worked in the industry for 25 years but never been coded.
Yeah.
Can we send them down maybe a day's worth of training and a day on the test?
Yeah.
And you can deliver that bespoke package. And then you deliver that, get them over the line with it, no matter what it takes. They're gonna leave with a pass unless they're absolutely appalling. But you've got the facility in here, and you don't need to bring anybody externally in.
Yeah,
that'd be a good step next.
That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah. So we're lucky with the employers we've got, where they're gonna kind of send the material over and that. So we're literally just letting the apprentice use the bay.
Okay.
But yeah, that would. From a pipe fitting point of view, it might be they have slightly different material, different sizes. I know some of the companies work a lot with stainless. As a training provider, we can't afford to have someone train on stainless all year. But again, later in the year, we can. Another employer said to me the other day they'd like their pipe fitters to be able to do a bit of welding because they wouldn't hit the criteria to have pipe welders. They wouldn't pass their apprenticeship because of the materials they use, but they want the pipe fitters to do a bit. So we've said, each case is an individual. If that apprentice gets through all their mandatory tasks that we need them to do, they can do some welding. So we kind of work with the employer, put it on the apprentice a little bit. They've got to want to do it and got to want to work hard. But we can try, and we do tailor the curriculum. We have an open door policy. Employers can literally drop in at any time. Sign in, come and see us. We've got some coming this week from GE. They're coming down to.
Is that GE Gas and Oil?
GE Vernova.
Okay.
Yeah. It was Alstom, and it's over the years it's changed its name. So the 2 lads that have come in are actually my friends who I did my apprenticeship with.
Cool.
So it'll be interesting to see what they think about what we're doing. Yeah, they'll be very honest with me as well. I'm sure. But we're just slightly different. You'll see bits across the site where we've got companies that are going to go and be boiler rats. And
it's a great job though.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and I keep mentioning it as well. But we've got a rig outside that we're installing, and we've got some boiler tubes we're going to put on there, and again getting to do some mirror welding. And even for the pipe fitters that are going to go there, we get them to chop the tubes out. We've been very kind. We've given them bigger gaps in between the pipes than what would normally be in there. But
why have you been so kind?
Just a starting point. They'll have to get used to it quickly on site, but. We get them to repair one tube. We'll mark it with an X and cut that one out, and then work with your welder to get it put back in. But more realistic, I would say, more than a training provider.
I think very much so. I like the sound of it, and I think if you were to look back now, obviously you're really passionate about it, and it's really good because a lot of people that I meet, and I've had this conversation. I might be on site doing a job, and I'll have a conversation having a cup of tea afterwards or in the staff room, and I can say, how did you get into it? And more often than not, the answer that I receive is one that shocks me, and it's where you kind of hear, oh, well, I wasn't really a great welder, but I was probably the best welder at where I was, and I was a person that everybody used to bring bits and pieces to, and I'd get on with that, and, I saw this job opportunity, and I kind of took it on. But then you look at that and you look at the enthusiasm that person delivers into that classroom, and I just think that's why the inspiration's missing. Because I've witnessed it so many times, not here, but at other facilities, where you just look upon that and you just think, what hope have the students got if the guy delivering it is literally reading from the page that he's got in front of him and he's got no enthusiasm about it? Whereas I love the fact that we're talking about ripping pipes out of boilers and how a boiler works. I'm just thinking back into my mind of 30mm face plates, putting it in with sub-arc and 4 square mil wire. And that was the first sub-arc job I went out to. My dad was like, come on, we're going to go fix a sub-arc today, and then you'll get to run it afterwards. And There was a faceplate half welded on the boiler. It was down the pit. It was massive. And by the time we got it all up and running, my dad was like, right, yeah, let's get it all ground out now and get it all arcade out, and we'll finish it off and make sure that it runs properly. And I thought, yeah, that's a good insight, that, you know, father and son, but also on something that I'm really passionate about. And I do deliver that, but I struggle with the fact that there's so many people out there in education, in that facility, and it's a, what would you class it as? It's a place of responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah.
But also I think you should be the one who really, that guy should be the one that gets those students to go home, number one, knackered after a day in college, but number two, buzzing about what they've been doing all day.
Yeah.
And I think that has been lacking in education. Do you think you've got that here? Do you think you've got the buzz? Do you think the people that are teaching are the teachers to really drive that enthusiasm? Have you got that here?
Yeah, 100%. I'll back the staff team as much as I can. But everyone's, like I said, been in the industry. Everyone's completed an apprenticeship. From when I've gone round, we're the most passionate team about all the different trades, and rightly so. The pipe fitters think that they're the greatest. The platers think that they're the greatest, and then everyone comes to the senses and remembers that welding is the best. But we're a young staff team. We are passionate. I'm like the second oldest, I think, in the team at 37.
I'll go say 25.
Yeah, I wish. Yeah, nearly 40. But 37. So I think they can relate to the students,
which is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't want anyone to think that I'm experienced. You can't beat it. We have had. I mentioned Phil earlier, who was my old trainer. He was 70 when he was here, so he was the other end kind of of his career. But what I don't want, it's the age. I guess it doesn't matter, but I want someone that's passionate. When we did all the interviews for the new staff team, one. People who on paper look like you could come in and do a fantastic job. He actually said to me, I'm just looking for a job to slow down with. And at that point I just thought, just slow down in the workshop where you're at. You carry on doing a fantastic welder, I'm sure, but
not here.
Not quite for education, not for here, yeah.
Because that's not what you're gaining. That's not what you're aiming for.
No, I want people who are passionate, who are going to kind of give it them all and see that they've got a career. It is a choice coming into education. It has its difficult days, as a lot of jobs
I'm sure
do.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, it's also rewarding. When Richard with a scholarship last year, he had 9 candidates finish, 7 have come back with us this year for an apprenticeship. So for him to see the influence he's had on their life after 1 year is fantastic.
Giving back is the best thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And we're coming up to our first set of apprentices to go through their EPA.
Right.
Our pipe fitters will be the first ones, kind of summertime.
Okay.
So again, for Lewis, who will have seen him start on the 19th of September, I think it was.
Last year.
2 years ago, yeah.
Right, 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then them pass and hopefully get the certificate and the pictures on social media, and that for him, that should be his moment of, you may have caused me some headaches, but that's
I have lost a few years. I've got a few more grey hairs.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. You've got to be passionate about coming in, and I hope that kind of when I'm talking to a staff team, and I do have high expectations of staff and the apprentices. I tell them all in September, but that's because what I want is the certificate at the end is great, but whatever course it is, whether it's a scholarship, an adult training course, their apprenticeship, I want someone to say, where did you train, or did it catch? And that kind of mean as much, if not more, than the certificate. Yeah. And it's just that kind of so people remember us and remember what a good job we do. It's not just about catch neither. It's too many people need training for catch to do it on their own. So we try and work with other training providers, working with the local college for those that kind of finish level 3 at school leavers, done level 1, 2 and 3, where do they go? Okay. What options have they got? If they don't get an apprenticeship, they've got all the grades, they've done really well at college, good attendance, timekeeping, the things that kind of everyone should have, I guess. Yeah. But where do they go? So we're working with them to kind of look at progression. Can they apply at catch? Can we help them? We can never guarantee anything, no jobs, I guess, because it's down to the employer, but can we help and support, do some CV writing, look at kind of interview techniques, that kind of thing.
And I guess the bigger you get, and the bigger that scale grows, and the bigger that word gets out, the more that word gets out, the more employers will also come to you.
Yeah.
And say, okay, right, I'm going to be looking for 4 guys or 4 girls or four new starters this year. Who have you got? And let's have a little bit of a contendership for that. Yeah,
we've so at capacity we would probably have apprentice. What we could have. We have 14 in a group maximum. I don't like to go any more than that really. We have done in the last year. But I think it dilutes the quality that you get.
Yeah, sure, it does.
So 14 maximum. So 56 apprentices, and a scholarship group as well will be on top of that.
Are they all taught on the same day? Are they all with different teachers?
Yeah. Okay. So at some time the workshop's buzzing when it's full.
Yeah.
It's great to see. When we bring guests and visitors around,
and you got 60 bays cracking away.
Yeah. And obviously the pipe fitters and fabricators aren't always in the bay, so they're kind of dotted around the workshop a little bit on some of the workbenches using the press or the plasma cut around the back. It just depends. But we have the potential to do more, like we mentioned, codings and things, but we could be at capacity. We've got people signing up to us for next year already.
Cool.
It's a good start across all the 3 trades, but I'm expecting at some point to be absolutely at capacity. That's where I want to be anyway for September 26th. So.
You still put the overalls on?
Every now and then, yeah. And do you know what? The day goes a lot faster when I do. I love spending time with the apprentices. They are, we like characters. And again, this trade does attract characters.
This trade's got some real characters.
Yeah. But from apprentices as well, we've got some characters, yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, I love getting in the workshop with them. But again, the training team I've got here are fantastic. So I don't like to get in the way too much. But
it is nice to pick up a rod every now and again.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah, not as much as what I should probably, but so maybe that'd be me. My New Year's resolution, maybe to put some overalls on a bit more. So
going forward, for anybody who wants to come into this industry, and it's your job now to sell it to them, okay? And that's, I'm going to put the weight on you for 2 minutes. I know how passionate I am about it, but you sell it to that one person who might have seen somebody weld, might have listened to a podcast, might have seen something on YouTube, fancies trying his hand at it a little bit. You need to sell it to him. What are you going to do?
I would just go for it. It's given me the best career. Yes, you get mucky. Yes, you meet some characters like we've mentioned. You could travel. You could stay at home. It depends on
start your own business.
Yourself. Yeah, start your own business. Yeah, you could go into education.
Definitely.
You could start your own business. You could end up being an inspector, an engineer. You kind of world your oyster. It's a brilliant, probably the best time to start this type of career.
I think it's like how it all started. If I look back to how my dad probably felt doing his apprenticeship, EITV trained, I would think, skill shortage as well, miners' strikes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think now is the time, and especially I think maybe, we might not feel like it is now with the current economic climate that we've got, but I reckon within the next 12 to 18 months, we're not going to be able to cope with the capacity that you've got. You're going to be full.
Oh yeah. I'd like to say September 26th. I think we're going to be full. It's if you want a career where you're going to earn a fortune, you're going to be in a job for life, pretty much, if you want it.
Yeah.
Welding's fantastic. Pipe fitting's great. Fabrication, it's the right time to get into the industry.
I agree.
We've got a couple of events this year where we're trying to do more to attract females into the industry as well.
Okay, that's cool, because I'm trying to get my first female on the podcast in January.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Chelsea is our welding trainer.
Cool.
She, again, was ECITB trained at Catch, and she's passionate about getting more females into engineering, especially welding. So we've done an event every year. Last year we was that well attended. We did 2.
Right.
So the first year we started with 25 year 10 girls from the local schools. Last year we did
year
almost
10, so they're 14, 15.
Yeah, 14, 15. Yeah. Last year we did 2 events because, again, like I said, it was that popular. So we had nearly 50 people, and we're doing the same again. And what's brilliant is the events are sponsored. So last year Lincoln Electric sponsored one, and Air Product sponsored one.
Okay.
So we've just actually gone out to some sponsors for this year. Hopefully that'll work out.
And
well.
what's the event entail? What goes on?
So they come to site about 9 o'clock, and we split them into 2, and they double up with our welders.
Right.
So they will normally go through a bit of mag welding with them.
Okay.
And towards the end of that session, they'll do some T-fillets, lap welds, outside corners, and towards the end we'll have had some little trophies that come in 2 parts, and at
Cool.
the end of the session they weld them together that they can take them home. And like I said, we split them into 2. So the other half of the day is we go out to local companies, get females who have kind of been there and done it, come and give their side, that maybe talked about the struggles, the worries that they had at the start of coming into what is quite a male
Dominated industry, yeah.
trade, yeah. And they'll do like some bridge building or tower building, and we do the chocolate welding as well, which goes down quite well. But,
Wicked.
yeah, it's a good day, and we have seen some that have actually applied for that, come through that day. She was Abby was an apprentice with us last year,
Okay.
at the local refinery, and she actually went on to be a finalist in this year's World Skills competition.
Fantastic.
That was on last week.
I was speaking about that with Joe from Bowler last week. Yeah, he was up there saying it was really good.
Yeah, that's something else I'm really passionate about. Myself and my friends who did our apprenticeship together took part in it. My friend did really well in it, so I've heard about it a long time ago, and first introduced to it at, when I was working at local college.
Okay.
And it's something we've kind of brought in.
So what do you do? Do you introduce the pupils to that? So get yourselves put forward.
It's almost built into curriculum. We talk to employers about it if they would like them to do it, which most say yes. We kind of make it mandatory, especially for the welders. They have a go, and the fabricators this year hopefully will all be having a go as well. The pipe fitters, there is no pipe fitting one competition, but if they want to, they can have a go at the fabrication one, if they're excelling again in what they're doing. But welding wise, we've done really well. In our first year, we had 3 of the 10 national finalists. We had a 4th place finish. Then this year we just had 2 of the 10, and like I said, Abby was the only female there as well. But from the first year, Harry, who came 4th, he was actually age eligible to make it through to the next stage. So he's just been to, he's in Squad UK at the minute. He's competing against another lad. The main end goal, I guess, is to represent the UK in Shanghai next year. But Harry's just been to Austria Skills to take part in that. So again, it's something that all expenses paid trip out to another country to do what you're passionate about.
What you love.
Yeah, why not sign up and give it a go? Yeah, but it's a good opportunity. Harry's done really well so far. So
I've not seen anything that went on at the event last week. So how was it? Did you get to see some of the stuff there yourself?
Yeah, this is the first year I've not been. Normally I go down every year, but just location wise, I think it was in College Cambria this year, so it's about 7.5 hours away for us. So slightly too long, but we'll again, we normally support. We're chatting to the apprentices that are there all the time. Chelsea was chatting to Jack, who was there. I was chatting to Abby, making sure they're okay.
What kind of tasks did they get given this year? What was
the main one's the pressure vessel, which causes a few issues, which is all different kind of your processes, your TIG, your
so you got to be pretty much compliant in all 3.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Carbon, stainless, aluminium. Range of materials, range of positions. Yeah, it's tough going, but brilliant to see. We host just the regional one this year, and even that is a good competition. Just seeing them, especially the ones that have kind of started and not knowing anything about what they were getting into really, to then doing a 6G TIG and stick cap. It's again for Chelsea, she can stand back and think, yeah, that's where I've got them to, and yeah.
And again, that's waving the flag, isn't it? That's it for yourself, for the females, for catch as well.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'd say this last 5 years, some of my companies that I look after, I've seen more young female apprentices on the shop floor, which is really good to see, because it takes me back when I started out going out on site with Dad. We went to one particular company, 95% of the welders were women.
Oh, wow.
All Syncrowave, Miller Syncrowave 300s, some SAF TIG welders in there. It was all thin, flexible stainless to carbon flanges, dissimilar stuff in some cases. And the women had a much better hand than the guys. The welds looked neater. Back then, and it wasn't really a competition thing with the ladies. It was a family thing. So grandma was there, and mum and daughter. There may have been an auntie that worked there in the factory as well. Yeah. And they all knew my dad. Malcolm's here. Malcolm will get me fixed. And I kind of carried on that legacy. Right, Barry's here now. And it were really funny to see the level of weld, and they'd do it while they were talking about what they were cooking for tea or what they were doing at the weekend. It was effortless. Yeah. And everything was like, send it. And I think that's the females definitely have an edge with that. It's just so easy to get that perfect kind of result, because that, very good hand-to-eye coordination. Yeah,
exactly.
Quite often no ego involved as well. Sometimes the guys fall over their ego a little bit, don't they, as well? I've seen that, so it was good. It'd be good to see it come back.
Yeah, we have we try, like I said, every year to get them on. We've got one fabricator this year, and we've got 2 on the scholarship program as well.
Right.
So that's something that we're looking to kind of increase. We did have more last year, but we had more apprentices in general last year. But it's something again that especially Chelsea's passionate about. She was went to like a bit of a forum the other day to try and talk about welding, and
we'll have to get Chelsea on the show next.
Well, when you said you're trying to get a female, and I thought, I don't want to speak for her, but I'm sure she'll come.
Well, I've got somebody that I'm speaking to, and I really want them on. But let's get Chelsea on, talk about Chelsea's story. That'd be cool. Definitely. Really good. Yeah. Where do you want to leave it? Like, I think this has been such a good topic because I'm passionate about getting more welders out there. The kids and the youth is really important to me. Number one, because it not only a skill, but when you're out there in the shop and the field and the people that you work with, they become your team and your unit. Yeah. And I think it's really easy to take a job where you kind of go home at 5 o'clock and there's no team and there's no unit, and you're dependent on the friends that you made through school and college. And although they're important, everybody tends to disperse and go their own ways through life. I think having an education and then having an apprenticeship and a job and a skill set where you build a team and a unit, and you've got that group of people that you can call upon no matter where you are. Being out on this kind of job today, never seen this kind of problem before. Have you seen that? But also that team and unit that's going to carry you through. I think it's really important, and I'm a big believer that it's missing and it's lacked in industry. And I feel kind of sad when I look at some skills and some industries, because they've not experienced what you and I have experienced with that. Everybody knows everybody's name. The tricks and the jokes that are played, and it's such a good time to start picking up the welding tongs. I think. And what I would like to see is much more. If you look at Instagram at the moment, you look on YouTube, the Americans are really good at it. Yeah. They live and breathe it. They are so good at it, and rightly so. I'd like to see that here. I'd like to see that level of enthusiasm about it, people being able to do it, people wanting to do it. Because America seems to be still at the forefront, I think.
Oh, most definitely, yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah, I think even you look at some of your manufacturers of your welding kit and that, where does it?
It's either German, or it's American, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like I said, I think they've just done it so well for so long. They're going to take some knocking off the perch, but and
you look at the distance they've got to travel when they're putting a pipeline in the States. It's a lot further than the UK. And I think it's good, just anybody who's listening, and especially if you pass this on to the pupils and stuff, the opportunities going to work on a pipeline ship. in the Nordics. You know, you could be doing that. You could be working on a rig, and I do think we are going to have to drill and drill and drill again at some point, regardless of how green we're going to be. They're life skills, but also life experiences. They're going to pay a massive amount of money into the bank.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a skill set that and I think once you've done those jobs, it almost gives you a rite of passage to the next avenue, wherever you want to be. Or you've worked for that company on that job, yeah, fine. Get your test passed, let's have a look at your papers and you'll be fine. I think that's missing, isn't it, at the moment? I think that's going to come back.
Yeah,
you've got to have some final words on it.
I think I just again, for anyone who's kind of listening, just to encourage you to come and see what we do.
Yeah.
Come and see how passionate we all are about the industry in general. It'd be great to show anyone around the workshop. If you've got if you're another training provider, come and see what we do. We'll kind of work together and kind of help kind of bridge that educational gap from trade. If you're a tradesperson, you're just interested, come see. If you're interested in the trade,
if you're a plumber.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, If you're interested in the trade, just get in touch with me somehow. LinkedIn's normally the best way.
Is that the best way that people can find you personally?
Yeah, LinkedIn.
Okay,
yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Just get in touch and I can show you around. You can come and have a go.
It's Joal. What's your second name?
Broddle.
And you'll have catch all over your page and everything. Yeah,
that's
cool.
it. Yeah, catch. Yeah, Just come and see what we do. But like you said, the best time to get in. Yes, you'll earn a fortune, but you'll have a good time while you're doing it.
You'll have a great time while you're doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's brilliant. So I think we'll have to get you on again because it's been inspiring. Let's get Chelsea on. We'll have to sort that.
Yeah.
And thanks so much.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers.
The Weld Like Bazza Podcast is sponsored by MS Welding, the #1 welding solution provider. mswelding.co.uk